Hi, I'm Nick Pohl.
And I'm Margot Rossi. And if you're watching, you're probably curious about clean language and how it can work for you and your patients and clients in building engagement, sense of insight, motivation, and opening to possibilities.
And so we wanted to give you a quick demonstration around how you can use these clean questions and how they're different in helping your clients to explore whatever kind of symptom and bringing their embodied intelligence into the process.
So Nick, are you ready to explore?
Yep.
Just tuning in, maybe feeling your feet on the ground, tuning into settling into your seat. And Nick, is there anything you would like to explore?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just aware of a very familiar kind of tightness in my left shoulder.
A familiar tightness in your left shoulder. And whereabouts exactly is that familiar tightness?
It's right at the top of the shoulder, just around there.
At the top of the shoulder. And what kind of tightness is that familiar tightness?
So already that question takes me out of the familiar and into a kind of open exploration. What kind of tightness? It's sort of pulling up in that direction. I almost see the image of the muscle fibers pulling up in that direction. And I get the picture of a fishing net pulling fish out of the water, like the muscle fibers are like the strings of a fishing net pulling up in that direction.
The strings of a fishing net pulling up in that direction. And when that tension, Nick, is like a fishing net pulling up in that direction, does it have a size or a shape?
Yeah, it's that kind of little triangle going up like that.
A little triangle. And is there anything else about that tension?
Well, as we're talking about it, and it sort of knows that it's getting some attention, as you can see from my movement, it's easing up and changing. Yeah.
And what do you know now about all that?
Well, I'm curious about the image, the metaphor, the fishing net. What's fishing? What's going on there? What is that pulling up thing? And if I stay with that for a moment, I just notice I'm taking a deeper breath, and it's like the fishing net is relaxing back down into the water. So it feels different now. Yeah.
And what difference does knowing that make?
Well, it brings my attention down to my the bottom of the rib cage on this side. So an awareness that pulling up there was also pulling me up bottom of the rib cage. So I can breathe deeper, and everything's much more relaxed on this left side. Amazing.
Thank you, Nick. And would that be a good place to finish?
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. So Nick, how was that for you?
Well, of course, I know all the questions. It's just every time that you allow yourself to just listen to them and respond to them from that place of an embodied intelligence, something new happens. And that's what I love about clean language. And I'll be going away thinking, that fishing net, what is there more about that metaphor? How could I explore that more? Because I actually saw fish in the net. So there's something productive. And this often happens with asking clean questions, that you go into a symptom which to the client or the patient appears to be a negative, and as soon as a metaphor arrives, there's actually something positive in there, and to pursue that is the embodied intelligence giving you some hint or some clue about what the next step is towards in the healing process?
Yes. So perhaps you can see the difference that clean can make as you work with patients and clients beyond what we learn, as the 10 questions in our diagnosis as we're trying to, come up with a treatment plan. This allows your patient or client to discover for themselves what they can do, or maybe what next step or what's needed for them. This builds motivation. It will definitely improve patient outcomes. So we invite you into deeper exploration with clean.